Creation. God created the heavens and the earth. He created Adam and Eve too. But when he created them, he gave one rule, and that was not to eat the fruit. Satan convinced them to eat it, and sin entered the world. Between the years 4000 and 3750 BC, the weapons were created. Um, when people started creating weapons, that means war and violence would come in the future. And if Adam and Eve never sinned, probably weapons would have never been created. During the years 3750 BC and 3500 BC, people started to find better materials to make the weapons. When you find better materials to make the weapons become stronger and they're more deadly. Between the years 500 BC and 3500 BC and 3250 BC, people started to settle down into villages. This means that villages started to become their own, and they started to gain conflicts with other ones. And since it was the Bronze Age, they had pretty good weapons to fight with. In 3000 BC, the Sumerians established many independent cities. These independent cities obviously didn't like the others, and they had conflicts with each other. A little after 3000 BC, the wagon wheel was invented. This is huge because trade became more accessible, and war became more accessible too because you could travel to other places to fight. During the year 2700 BC and 2500 BC, the empire rose, and it was called the Egyptian Empire. The Egyptians were very powerful due to the fact that they had so many people. During the years 2500 BC and 2250 BC, another big empire arose, and it was the Akkadian Empire. During the years 2250 BC and 2000 BC, the Akkadian Empire fell due to the external attacks that they were facing, and more independent city-states emerged in the area. In 1792, a man named Hammurabi took over and started the empire known as the Babylonian Empire, and he was able to unite all of the city-states. Soon after the Babylonian Empire rose, there was a war between the Egypt and the Hyksos. The Hyksos had chariots, and the Egyptians had donkey carts, and the Egyptians got destroyed in that battle. In these years, between the years 1500 BC and 1250 BC, we were seeing many civilizations popping up in the Greek areas, and this was right after the Egyptians and the Hyksos went to war, but obviously they weren't affected. The Mycenaean civilization in Greece started to collapse in 1100 BC. Even though they were doing well, people couldn't fight the urge to fight the other. During these years, Greece went into a period called the Dark Ages. This was due to the fact that the Mycenaean civilization fell, and attacks from other cities also weren't helping anything. During this time, during the years 750 BC and 500 BC, we had two large Greek city-states that were very powerful, Sparta and Athens. Sparta and Athens did not like each other either. After the Greek city-states defeated Persia, they split into two divisions. The two divisions went to war, and this war was known as the Peloponnesian War. And also, Alexander the Great just wanted to conquer the whole world, and he was able to. After the Alexander the Great's empire fell, the Roman Empire emerges, and the Roman Empire was involved in the Punic Wars also. During this time, the Roman Empire started to expand, and this means when they were expanding, they were also fighting a lot of people and killing a lot of people also. During this time, there was a point in history, and this is huge because Rome wasn't very peaceful. So when they have a point of history with good rulers, it's something I think we should talk about, even though we're talking about violence. During this time, the Roman Empire starts to want to split because the Pax Romana was coming to an end, and people started to gain conflicts within the country. So people tried to split apart. During these years, between 300 and 400, the Roman Empire finally split into two, the Byzantine Empire and the West Roman Empire. And both had conflicts with one another because they were obviously different. The Vandals from North Africa were starting to invade Rome, and they ravaged the Western Roman Empire in 455. During this time, many Germanic peoples took over the Western Roman areas and after the attacks from the Vandals. In 636, the defeat of the Eastern Roman Empire in Yarmouk, and in 679, the Burglars defeated the Eastern Roman Empire. Also, these were two big events that happened within the empire. During this year, there was many schisms in the church. A schism is where the church breaks apart because two disagree on what beliefs they should do. When Charlemagne died, he split his kingdom up to his three sons. This looked a lot like what a schism would look like in a church fighting over land. In the year 929, Spain split into many territories, more than Charlemagne when he gave it to his three sons, but it looked a lot like what Charlemagne's did. During this time, between the years 100 and 1100, we saw the Great Schism of the Church, and obviously this brought violence over the land, and yeah. During this time, there was the Second Crusades and the Third Crusades that finished. The Crusades was a war between the Christians and the Muslims. That is just not what I meant to do. Hold on. Sorry for the inconvenience. Let me get back here. My hair. Oop. In 1204, the Crusaders were able to sack the capital of the Byzantine Empire, which was Constantinople. In 1337, England and France went into a war called the Hundred Years' War, and 3 million people died. In 1453, the Hundred Years' War ended, and it was such a huge time for the French and the British. Eventually, they would become good friends, though. During this year, Martin Luther decided to make his own branch of Christianity called Lutheranism, and obviously, Catholics did not like this, but he did it anyways. During this year, England got into another war called the 30 Years' War, and it was just terrible, 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 terrible. And oh my, it happened again. During this year, England got into another war, and it only lasted 7 years in North America. During this time, there was a civil war in the United States, and the United States, this was 100 years after the 7-Year War. During this time, World War II happens, and it was terrible. The Soviet and the United States just battled and battled and battled. And after World War II, the Soviet Union fell, and obviously Russia and Ukraine have the conflicts that we know of today, and it was just a terrible time. Thank you for watching.